Malaysia's Food Self-Sufficiency, a wake-up call for a nation dependent on imports, by Azlan Adnan. Despite years of agricultural reforms and rural development strategies, Malaysia remains dangerously reliant on food imports, exposing broad weaknesses in food security. While pockets of self-reliance exist, the overall picture portrays a nation ill-prepared to sustain its growing population and to weather global disruptions. National dependence on imports. Malaysia exhibits several troubling deficits in key food commodity areas. Rice, an essential staple, is only 70 to 75% self-sufficient. Nearly 1/4 of domestic consumption comes from abroad, mainly Thailand and Vietnam, leaving Malaysians vulnerable if global supplies tighten. Beef is even more precarious, with local production supplying just 10 to 15% of demand. The remainder relies on imports from Australia, New Zealand, and India, making domestic food security contingent on foreign supply chains. Dairy suffers under similarly low self-reliance. Only 5 to 10% of Malaysia's dairy needs are met locally. Cheese, milk, and yogurt are largely imported. Sugar production covers only 20 to 25% of national demand, again creating significant dependency on imports. Products essential to livestock feed, especially yellow corn and soybeans, are each only 10 to 15% domestically supplied, weakening resilience in the poultry and aquaculture sectors, as well as in crop production. Relative strengths and their limits. There are successes, but each contains systemic fragility. Poultry and eggs enjoy high self-sufficiency to 95%, yet are reliant on imported feed, particularly corn and soy, inherited from staple crop shortcomings. Tropical fruits, bananas, pineapples, papayas, reach 90 to 100% self-sufficiency, often producing modest surpluses for export. Similarly, root crops like sweet potatoes and tapioca fully meet local needs, although their role remains niche in broader diets. Aquaculture, including tilapia and catfish, hits 70 to 80%, but remains highly dependent on foreign fish meal and feedstock. Rising population. Pressure mounts. Malaysia's population stands at over 35 million and growing. Rising living standards are expanding meat, dairy, and sugar consumption, all commodities in which domestic production is weak. By 2030, Malaysia will require millions of tons more grain, meat, and milk to satisfy demand. Without immediate redirection of policy and investment, imports, subject to global market swings, will continue filling these gaps. Ecological constraints. Agriculture versus rainforest. Malaysia's remaining rainforests, rich in biodiversity and carbon sinks, face grave threats from agricultural expansion. Further clearing to boost output comes at steep ecological cost. 1. It accelerates habitat loss for endangered species such as elephants, orangutans, and tigers. 2. It undermines carbon sequestration, increasing emissions and degrading ecosystem services. 3. It reduces water catchment stability, heightening flood risks and dry season vulnerability. Malaysia must choose between food security and ecological balance. There is no room for both via business as usual. Systemic gaps, where strategy has failed. Decades of plans and reports have not yielded transformational change. Critical constraints include land underutilization. Large tracts of agricultural land lie fallow or underused. Smallholder struggles. Farmers face rising costs, aging populations, and inconsistent extension support. Feed dependency. With local corn and soy production at 10 to 15%, the nation's self-reliant food system is built on sand. Weak R&D investment. Innovations in high-yield seeds, agroforestry, and climate-resilient systems remain sporadic and underfunded. Fragmented policy execution. State-level agriculture ministries often feel disconnected from federal mandates, impacting coherence and monitoring. The urgency. 6 need-to-act areas. 1. Staple grain scale-up. Prioritize rice, corn, and soybean production through targeted subsidies, irrigation projects, and high-yield seed support. 2. Feed sovereignty. Develop domestic feed processing industries, engage oil palm byproduct utilization, and incentivize national corn-soy cultivation. 3. Cattle and dairy revitalization. Offer incentives for modernized beef and dairy operations, including public-private partnerships and climate-adapted breeds. 4. Agroforestry value-added crops. Promote sustainable fruit, oil palm, cocoa, and nut production that coexists with rainforest stewardship. 5. Extension and farmer support. Roll out modern extension services delivering training, AI-based farming, and direct market linkage, especially to younger farmers. Number 6. Integration with environmental safeguards. Use agroecological zoning, carbon accounting, and payments for ecosystem services to reconcile expansion with conservation. A critical juncture. Malaysia cannot and must not ride out global instability on the hope that imports or new technologies will fill the gap. The nation's domestic food vulnerabilities are real, immediate, and existential. Action cannot wait until prices spike, supply chains shudder, or ecological disaster strikes. The choice is clear: urgent reform or growing fragility. The time to redefine Malaysia's agricultural future has arrived. A heartfelt light. To every soul whose hand did give, you've helped me dream, helped me live. In darkest hours your light came through, with hearts so kind, so pure, so true. Your gifts, like stars in deepest night, have steered me gently toward the light. Each coin, each word, each silent prayer, a thread of hope, so rich, so rare. My eyes once dimmed now seek the skies, and slowly, clearer visions rise. Because of you, I dare to see the world again, its grace, its plea. Your compassion's flame will not just stay with me alone. It lights the way for others wandering through despair to feel the warmth of selfless care. You've shown what love in action means, in quiet ways through giving scenes. You've built a bridge from soul to soul and made the broken feel more whole. So let this thanks rise like a song, a melody both soft and strong. May your example gently call more hearts to rise to give. To fall into the joy of lifting pain, of planting hope where none remains. Your kindness walks beside me still, a light, a love, a living will.
forget to hit that subscribe button to show your support.